The Film Basement is filmed in sunny West Hartford, Connecticut, in front of a live studio audience.
Welcome to the Filmmaker's Basement, where we are still trapped in the movie doldrums. I'm Brandon.
I'm Andrew.
And we're going to be going to the movies we saw this week, in addition to playing a little game show later on. And on that topic, as I mentioned previously, this is still a very dead time for movies, so I didn't really have, a ton I wanted to see, so I ended up watching Death on the Nile. If you've ever wanted to know the origin story of Poirot's mustache or watch an old man meticulously rearrange tiny desserts, then Death on the Nile is the movie for you. Watch as Poirot is sucked into a murder mystery surrounding a newlywed couple and a jealous ex, where everyone is guilty of murder and the real criminals were the friends we made along the way. So, I didn't have high expectations going into this movie. I think the last movie that in this series was Murder on the Orient, something like that.
Yes. That
came out a while ago, and that didn't seem very good. I don't think that got very good reviews. But I was a little surprised. It was actually a very serviceable movie. I'll start off by saying I think the story was actually pretty well handled overall. The movie clocked in at 2.5 hours long. It felt like an hour and a half long movie. It really flew by. I was kind of surprised. I was talking to my girlfriend after we finished watching the movie because I was really surprised by how fast that movie went. I was like, I had to check, was this actually a 2.5 hour long movie? Because it did not feel like it. Which is usually a good sign when it comes to a movie of that length. Additionally, all the performances were pretty solid. They all did a really good job of, playing their kind of one-note characters. Because I don't know if you know much about Poirot stories, but from what I know, at least, the characters aren't exactly, the focus. It's more so the mystery. So they're all very, kind of one-note. But I think for that, for being kind of one-note characters, they were all very entertaining in their own ways. I will say the one actor who I think was kind of questionable at times was the guy who played Poirot, the lead detective on this case. Poirot is very much so a Frenchman, and the actor, for the most part, does a great job doing a French accent, but there are definitely some times where the accent is so thick you cannot understand what he is saying. I wish there were subtitles that went along with this movie, because I could not tell during certain sections what he was saying at all. But besides that, and some scenes where, Poirot was acting like kind of a goofy grandfather, if that makes sense. He did a pretty good job playing the lead character, kind of sitting back and watching everyone's performances. Let's see. Going back to the story a little bit. I will say the central idea of the story, the murder mystery itself, was pretty well handled. I definitely couldn't have guessed who was the murderer by the end of it. The movie did a great job of giving everyone enough reason to want them dead, and also sneaking in little bits where it's okay, maybe this person did it here because they were at this place at this time, that kind of thing. And also giving them more motives in addition to that, why they might be doing this. And even when you find out certain characters definitely weren't the murderer, there's still interesting secrets that they were hiding the entire time. So that was fun in its own right. Decently creative in that regard. However, I have two kind of big gripes with the movie, and I think that's why I was saying it's a very serviceable movie. The first is the ending is very unsatisfying, and I don't know how to really explain it besides, it's definitely a good twist. I definitely didn't see it coming, but on the other hand, when they revealed what was happening, it, I didn't feel any different knowing that information. It didn't feel like anything had really changed in a major way. I will also say, though, I think there were definitely pieces in there where you could, maybe have figured out that ending, so that's, kind of a cool thing. But I'll also say the reveal, because the whole movie essentially revolves around someone being killed on a boat, in the middle of the Nile, and you're trying to figure out who's the murderer. The way they, show you how the murder happened is, overly complicated to the point where it's, you had, less than a minute to do this, and it seems very unlikely you would have been able to pull this off. So that kind of took me out of it towards the end. But that was kind of more of a minor problem. I do think the more major issue was that for a murder mystery movie, this was, not a very tense movie. when I'm going to see like a murder mystery movie, I kind of want like a little bit of tension. Like you want there has to be like some kind of stakes, or like you have to like be really like invested in these characters and like to really want to know who's the murderer and like who are they gonna get next, that kind of thing. But I think there was something about the way that this was shot where it felt very like matter of fact. Like the camera was very stationary the whole time. There were a lot of frequent cuts to where like you couldn't really like focus in on one character as they're being interrogated by Poirot and like really get a sense that this person's on the edge of their seat trying to defend themselves. Because Poirot goes around and like is like, okay, this is how you did the murder and this is why you did it, and now it's up to you to prove me wrong. Like, are you hiding something that could be, maybe misconstruing me? But we never really like get that tension that's necessary to like keep you on the edge of the seat wondering what's happening. I think this definitely could have been helped, like I said, with some stationary shots where you're really just like focusing in on these people getting grilled. In addition to that, some like almost like slow zooms as you feel them kind of getting boxed in by Poirot's logic. Just simple things like that probably would have helped create a bit more tension and got me a bit more invested in the movie. Because as somebody who actually kind of had to get up during the middle of the movie and go to the bathroom and come back, like, I didn't really feel like, first off, I had missed anything, and secondly, I don't know, it didn't feel like it was ruining the moment by doing that. It felt like a movie where I could leave and come back, and, like, I'd still get the basic gist of what was going on and wouldn't feel like I'd missed out on anything. Even with these gripes, I will say the movie is pretty solid. Like, it's still well shot, even though it's not very creative. The performances are all very interesting. The characters are fun. I did like Poirot, the guy who played Poirot. He was, again, like I was saying earlier, with that fun grandpa feel. Like, yes, that was weird at times, but through a lot of it, his eccentricities made it very interesting. But yeah, I think overall pretty serviceable. If you don't really have anything else to see while there's nothing really coming out during this time, I think this will keep you interested for that time.
Interesting. So did you see Murder on the Orient Express or no?
I did not, though I think the movie makes a couple of callbacks to it, with specific characters coming back. I don't know if you saw it.
No.
Yeah, I think there were one or two characters that were coming back from that movie that were a little bit relevant in this, but
you don't need to see
no, definitely
Murder
not
to see this one.
It's its own thing.
Yeah.
Like the characters that are supposed to be like, I think, quote unquote, from that other movie, they're kind of naturally introduced in a way where you're like, oh, him and Poirot have history, like that kind of thing.
Because we talked about it the last episode we did, and we talked about, I thought that this would have been one that you would have went and saw, and so it was.
Yeah.
But you didn't go into it, I guess, thinking it was going to be all right, and you kind of walked out going, yeah, it was okay. Like,
yeah, I think that's a definite win in this movie's favor. I think my expectations were a little bit
low.
I think lower than I would have assumed going into it. I think I set them a little too low. Like, it's definitely not a bad movie. I think it's funny. As I was leaving the movie theater, I was like, I bet Rotten Tomatoes gave this like a 65%, because it's not bad, but like it's not like that great. And then I looked up and got exactly that. Like,
oh dang,
yeah,
right.
It's like a very like middle of the road good movie.
Yeah,
like I said, you definitely won't be bored watching it, but I don't think it's not a movie you're gonna want to rewatch, I think is a great way of putting it. You won't be bored the first time. You probably won't return to it. But yeah.
Well, I'm glad you were pleasantly surprised at your movie, because I saw just a complete shit of a movie.
So we switched
Excuse
places
my
this week.
I very much enjoy a Liam Neeson action movie. Taken is one of my favorite action movies. It has a good plot. It has good action in it. It has a good story. This movie was so bad. Like, and I just looked it up on Rotten Tomatoes. For those of you who don't know, I went and saw Blacklight which is the newest action mystery thriller from that Liam Neeson has done.
You know, it's funny. I'm pretty sure you could say that, and that's all you need to understand what this movie is like.
Well, like, so do you know how like you have some actors who like play the same role?
Yeah,
every movie that they're in.
Like
Liam
Dwayne The Rock
Neeson's
Johnson.
no, because he has some different. He has some different ones.
No, sorry, no, never mind. Go for it.
So, in this movie, Liam Neeson plays Travis Block, who is a government operative who's coming to terms with his shadowy past. When he discovers a plot targeting U.S. citizens, Block finds himself in the crosshairs of the FBI director he once helped protect. So I'm thinking this movie is gonna be like action packed. It's it's kind of got that like Angel Has Fallen feel to it with that Gerard Butler movie that he did in the third. It's like that was a trilogy. That's kind of crazy to think about. That the Fallen movies are a trilogy, but it's kind of had that feel to it where like the U.S. government turns on one of its operatives. So Liam Neeson plays this like black ops operative who gets paid off the books from the FBI, and he's basically like an extractor. Like he goes in, he extracts the FBI agent that's in trouble, and he gets them out alive. So, like I was saying before, Liam Neeson plays pretty much the same role in almost every movie he's in, which is like down on his luck father whose ex-wife has left him and his kids resent him, and he works for the United States government, kind of like Taken, kind of like that other movie he did, Unknown, kind of like
Phantom Menace.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I get what you mean though.
So, except this time he's so old that he's not a father, he's a grandfather.
Oh my god.
So
that's so rude.
So he's got this granddaughter who he's trying to spend more time with, so he's trying to balance his time with his work and with his daughter. Oh, and he's got like really bad OCD. Like he's got to do 3 of everything whenever he does something.
Did you know Liam Neeson's almost 70?
I did not know that.
That might explain why he's playing a grandfather.
Probably.
Oh my god.
That's crazy.
Wait, does that mean he was like 50 when he was doing the Taken movies?
Yeah.
Wow.
That was less than 20 years ago. So
oh my god.
That is crazy. I mean, he looks great for his age, I guess. But do you remember when I went and when I saw Cry Macho and it was Clint Eastwood, and I said, Clint Eastwood's got to stop doing movies because he's too damn old. Yeah. That's how I feel about this movie.
Wow, really?
Because Liam Neeson is just so there's the action that's in this movie is like he's not doing all the action sequences like he used to. There's like no action sequences in the movie. There's like 3 or 4 bits of it, and it's an hour and 45 minutes. It was just, I almost walked out. I've never walked out of a movie before, but I contemplated walking out, and then I was like, you know what? I'm going to see where the end of this movie goes. And you get to the end, and it ends so abruptly that you're just like, wait, that's it? Like, that's how this ends?
They're trolling
There's
you.
no way that's how this ends. And the movie ends. And, like, his family gets kidnapped by, like, the head of the FBI and put into witness protection, and they don't explain that at all. Like, and they don't explain how he finds them in witness protection, and his daughter has like this resentment towards him because of how OCD and paranoid he is, because he's paranoid throughout the whole movie. He thinks that people are watching him. He thinks that people are like watching his kids, or his kid and his granddaughter, and it gets to the end of the movie and he just like strolls up to this witness protection house, and they just come out of the house and are like, oh, we're so glad to see you again. Like, everything's fine. Like, what? And it was just like, the tagline for this is it's Blacklight. They're gonna need more men, and I
What
I
does
also
that
don't
mean?
I don't know.
See, if you're saying something like Blacklight in the title, I'm gonna assume it has something to do with like the flashlight,
Yeah,
to see like
I
blood stains
I
on a wall or something. Like,
do not know what the title of the movie has to do with the movie, because it doesn't have anything to do with anything. There's no mention of a blacklight. There's no blacklight in the movie. There's no forensics team. So it's just like, okay, I don't get it.
so
It was
it
it
is
was
it is
was
funny how
rough.
you were mentioning that there were those actors that like they always do the same kind of thing. Because I saw a theory recently around actors like that. The main one they were talking about then was Bruce Willis. I don't know if you've seen Bruce Willis's movie career recently, but he's very much like kind of cashed out and is only doing like action movies that like he has to do minimum acting in, and like
The person that I
pay him,
could
like, $1
think
million
of other
for
than
it.
Liam Neeson was Jason Statham. Like Jason Statham plays the same character in
Yeah.
every movie he's in. Just this badass British dude who kills people. That's all he does. So it's just like, okay. Oh, and I did look up the Rotten Tomatoes score for this movie.
Probably bad.
It's a 6.
Yeah. That's how you know it's bad. But yeah,
But the audience score, they gave it a 71, and I don't understand why.
because some people
But
honestly just want to see. They're probably, again, because like what I was saying with the Bruce Willis movies earlier. A lot of the reason why they get him for those really cheap action movies is because they know people will watch the movie because it's a Bruce Willis movie, and that's probably exactly what is happening here. Is that there are people watching this Liam Neeson movie, and are like, okay, Liam Neeson shoots people, and there's explosions, and that's kind of cool. I love it.
Get it. Like, I get
Yeah.
it. Like, but like, and I walked into the theater, and it was like, I went to a 3:30 showing, so I understand where I'm going with this, but like, there was so many old people. Like,
Well, they
like,
want to see some representation for themselves.
I
on
guess.
Screen. Oh my gosh.
It's just, it's so, it was just so strange.
Yeah, I mean, he's almost like 7 years old now. Maybe it's time for him to start trying some new. I mean, you know what he needs? He needs like his Creed 2. Did you see Creed 2?
Yeah.
Yeah. You know how at the end, like, Rocky Balboa is like, yeah, I'm gonna kind of retire, take my time off, I'm gonna do my own thing, and then he goes off with his family in the end. Need something like that for Liam Neeson. Just be like, you know what, I'm gonna retire from the action movie career, and maybe I'll just do like some cool, I don't know, short, like, smaller role things from now on. No more action. I'm not cut out for this anymore.
Yeah, it was just, I went into it like, all right, cool, Liam Neeson action movie. All right, I'm in.
Yeah. And that's how they get you.
No.
That's how they get you.
No.
Well, they can't all be winners. It had to happen at some point that you were the one who saw the garbage movie.
I don't think it would be, though. I want to see, actually, what was the budget for this movie?
Probably
it
dirt
was
cheap.
$43 million.
$43 million? Really?
Yeah.
Why?
And the opening weekend in the North America is 3.5 million.
Oh my god.
The actor got people in the seats.
Oh,
so
that's kind of sad.
43 million estimated. That's crazy.
I wonder how much of that was his
Probably a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably a lot. Because that's all considered into the budget too. And of course it's a Liam Neeson action movie, so there are jump cuts everywhere. Like,
and I can imagine they're probably rougher now that he's older.
Have you seen the jump cut counter for Taken 3?
Yes,
Did you see that video?
Yeah.
There was one scene he was jumping over a fence, and they jump cut like 15 times for one scene.
It's so bad.
It was crazy. Yeah.
I can only imagine that's worse here, but oh well. Hey, you win some, you lose some. Sometimes you're gonna get the garbage movie. It happens, but there's always future Liam Neeson movies to let you down. All right, but on that note, let's cut to a segment that never lets anyone down, Pilot Wings. And for those who don't know what Pilot Wings is a game show where I pitch Andrew 3 different show log lines. 2 of them are real shows that were pitched to a network. This week they might not necessarily have been picked up, but they were pitched far enough to get into the pilot season, and one of them is fake. And it's up to Andrew to decipher which is the fake one using his superb television knowledge. And on that note, number 1. This show follows a team of down-and-out women in suburban Arizona as they fight their way to the top of the cutthroat world of a multi-level marketing cosmetics business. 2. After pushing his luck too far, John Reacher finds himself out of allies and on the verge of being kicked out of the FBI. However, he uncovers a terrorist plot that can not only save his career, but make him the hero he always wanted to be. And 3. Ex-cop Jimmy Hill wants to be left alone after moving back to his small Gulf Coast, Florida hometown. But when a local murder is linked to the sunken treasure of a lost Spanish galleon, he's drawn into the investigation by an idealistic deputy and pitted against the powerful town patriarch, outside criminal agents, and even his own father. So, Andrew, which of these great ideas do you think could be the fake one?
I think you messed up this week.
Did I?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Unless this is a completely different show.
Mm-hmm.
But I know for a fact that Amazon Prime is currently doing, or is currently in the process, or about to release the show Reacher.
Mm-hmm.
Featuring, what is his name? It's the guy from Blue Mountain State. They're like the linebacker. He, I want to say his name was like Allen or something with an A. But obviously Reacher was a movie based in the Tom Clancy universe. And I've seen the trailers for the new Reacher show. So unless you're pulling wool over my eyes, that's definitely a show. And it's on Amazon Prime. The one number 3 about the ex-cop Jimmy Hill.
I don't know why that name is funny to me.
I don't know why, but that just doesn't sound real. Mainly because I don't know of a lot of TV shows based in Florida, like mainstream ones. Obviously, CSI Miami is, Dexter is, but those are also Miami, like Gulf Coast, Florida. I live Gulf Coast, Florida. Nobody wants to make a TV show about the Gulf Coast of Florida. The first thing that got destroyed in the movie Greenland was Tampa. Like, nobody wants to make
People do be hating on
movie
Florida
about the Gulf Coast of Florida. And then also about a sunken treasure chest for lost Spanish galleons. That sounds a lot like Uncharted, which is the new movie coming out next month. And then the first one follows a team of down and out women in suburban Arizona as they fight their way to the top of a cutthroat world. I think that is a show too. Isn't that show called Nails or something? I want to say that show was all about like nail salon business, and it was called Nails. So 3 by proxy would have to be the fake one.
Okay, are you locking that in?
Yes.
Okay, well, my apologies for this. I thought John Reacher was a bullshit, like, detective name or whatever. That number 2 was the fake one.
Oh.
When I thought, my first instinct was when I was making this is, well, I have to make a name that sounds fucking stupid.
Is it Jack Reacher?
I thought it was Jack Ryan.
Well, there is Jack Ryan. Jack Ryan.
I don't know
is
about
the show...
Reacher. I've never heard of Reacher.
Jack Ryan is the show with John Krasinski.
Yeah.
But there is a show called Reacher, and it was originally a movie.
This.
It was originally a movie, so, but they are coming out with a show called Reacher. Alan Richardson. He played the linebacker John Mountain State. It is Jack Reacher. So I messed up on that one. So I should have said that.
I didn't even know this was a thing.
Yeah, it comes out.
Investigators recently entered civilian life when he's falsely accused
it's
of
already
murder.
out.
Well, that's on me. I didn't even. I thought that was just a stupid name. I came up with.
Nope.
I was like, oh, what sounds like a very generic action hero name? John Reacher.
I guess it was Jack. I messed up the two.
Yeah, no, that's entirely fair.
Right.
I didn't even know that was a thing. So that's on me.
And that sounds exactly like the plot to Reacher. It was about he's kicked out of the FBI. It's like he gets framed for murder or something, and it sounds like it's.
I guess
it's
great
from
minds think
Reacher.
alike.
I guess.
Because I've
Should
never heard of
submit
this.
that to Amazon or something.
Amazon love
Prime
it.
Video.
So both these shows are passed over. The first show was called False Prophets. I think this one was being redeveloped allegedly, but I could not find anything of the show anywhere, so I don't think it ever actually released. And the second one is called Salvage. Now that I look this over, this show really is a lot dumber than I initially thought.
It is, yeah.
Fucking Jimmy Hill. Love that name. Oh, man. But yeah, that's on me. I'm going to have to start looking into the names I give my characters in the coming weeks. That way I don't accidentally create something that's real. I didn't think this would ever be a problem. But yeah, that's Pilot Wings this week. And on that funny note, let's move on to some movies that are coming out this week. And the only big one is Uncharted, and I've already been hearing it's not good.
Oh, of course it's not.
No.
Why would any game
Cough,
like
cough.
movie
Sonic.
based off a video game be good? Like,
You gonna tell me a Sonic movie was bad? You really gonna sit there?
yeah. Yeah, I am.
God.
There has yet to be a good movie based off of a TV show or a video game.
Yeah.
And I will stand by that comment forever until they make a good one. And
Fair
I
enough.
really enjoyed the new Mortal Kombat, but I know a lot of people didn't. So like I enjoyed it, but it didn't get good
yeah.
reviews. Like it's not like a blockbuster movie. It was a blockbuster quote.
You're
but,
right.
like,
I completely
not...
forgot that even came out. Like
Exactly.
that's so weird. To
So
think about.
yeah, I'm not surprised that Uncharted is not doing very well or is not getting good reviews. It's not surprising to me.
But besides that, there's not too much. I will admit there is one movie that sounds kind of interesting to me. It's called The Outfit. An expert tailor must outwit a dangerous group of mobsters in order to survive a fateful night. That sounds kind of fun. Like, how does a tailor outwit a bunch of mobsters? I want to see that. Like, I could definitely see myself getting into that.
And then there's a dog movie,
Which,
I mean, I probably won't go see. It's only an hour and a half.
oh my god, yeah.
Yeah.
That makes sense. It doesn't look like there's a lot to
It's not
it.
terrible.
No.
But yeah, Uncharted's already got a 47 on Metacritic.
Yeah, that
Yikes.
doesn't surprise me. That just does not. And the trailers just don't even look that great for it. Like I don't know what anyone was expecting.
It looks like an action movie. It's probably going to be better than the action movie I saw this week.
Yeah, that is definitely fair. At least you'll have some good effects.
Yeah, and we'll see. We'll see. I don't know. Maybe audiences will like it because maybe it holds true to the games. But
I wouldn't put it. I wouldn't. I don't know.
they also didn't get the right actor to play Nathan Drake because the
Yeah.
actor that it's a young Nathan Drake, so I get it. But like Nathan Drake should have been played by Nathan Fillion.
So this is something I'm actually curious about because I've never touched the Uncharted game, so I have a very basic grasp of what it's about. But like Tom Holland looks really young to play that guy. Like he looked like he was like a mid-30s kind of dude. At least from what I've seen.
Remember a lot about the Uncharted games, and because they were PS3 games.
Yeah, it's old.
To be honest, like the Uncharted 4 was the only one on PS4. But I think it's supposed to be like a young Nathan Drake. Like I'm not sure exactly if it was supposed to be in this. It does say the movie took some inspirations from Uncharted 4, which is the fourth installment of this.
I don't know. All I know is he looks too young, and I don't know if that's just because he's a young dude or because I always associate him with being Spider-Man and like chronically 16.
It does say the film does serve as a prequel to the games, but it does have some elements to it Like a lot of the trailer shots are shots from the game, like him hanging out of the C-17 on the boxes, like with his and then him jumping back into it with the car and all that stuff.
Yeah.
All that's taken from the game.
That makes sense. It did look very video gamey, if that makes sense.
It does look like it is a prequel to the games, which makes sense because Nathan Drake he does look a lot older in the games.
And I guess if they do end up making more of these, that gives Tom Holland room to get older and look older. I don't know. All I know is I'm not going to see it. I say that about a lot of movies, but it doesn't look particularly interesting to me.
I'll watch it.
Yeah, that's entirely fair. Well, on that note, on that glowing review of the new Uncharted movie, Andrew, do you have anything you want to plug?
Nope.
Okay.
Quick one this week.
Yeah. Hey, I'm happy for it. I'm always happy for that. I will say I will plug Jimmy's short film Police 3. We filmed that this weekend. I was on set while filming it, and I got to see some of the footage that came out of it. And oh my god, it looks so good. I
got some of the screen grabs that Jimmy sent me, and it looks promising. It looks definitely like high quality. So
yeah, it looks
not
genuinely
like the high school film you guys filmed a few years ago.
Yeah, no, it's definitely a massive improvement. And in addition to getting to meet everyone on set, everyone was amazing. They were so professional the entire time they were there, and like very good about getting stuff done. We were so ahead of schedule the entire time. Just an awesome group of people to work with. So definitely look forward to that.
I'm excited to see it.
Yeah, and check out the Name Pending Productions Facebook page if you want any additional information about that, because I'm sure Jimmy will keep posting about content as we go on.
He's posted a few of the screen grabs already. You could take a look at it.
Yeah, I definitely recommend checking them out. But on that note, I think that's all we have for this week. Thank you for watching the Filmmaker's Basement. I'm Brandon.
I'm Andrew.
And we will see y'all next time. Goodbye.